Well, folks, welcome back to the Baus Map. And you know this map is the map that got the most of the mappiest map motherfuckers around. You know what I'm talking about. We talking about some people who have been on some maps, and some people who have been on a lot of other maps, and some people who have been on a lot of other maps and a lot of maps and know how to play those maps. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So, when we come back to the boss map, which is a map of boss ass motherfuckers on this particular world, we see that there's not a lot. And the reason I'm using this colorful version of the game is to show that there's not a lot of dominance in this game. I will say we can look at some large territories. We can talk about French West Africa over here. We can talk about Canada, large areas. But also the further north you go, don't forget the larger those territories are. So Russian artillery, those are big territories. So although that territory looks large, it's not necessarily larger than some of the others that are closer to the equator. So we have a lot of stuff going on here. What I would say is, if you want to know who is uh, doing well with respect to economy, size, expansion, all that stuff, I trust the points. I really do. And look, I know I've seen some people come back from low points and win the game. So I'm not saying the points are the way to calculate everything, but it's a good baseline way to look at, you know, well, how are things going? I don't know. Let's go check the points. So let's look at the points here. Number one, French West Africa, which we talked about. That was the western part of Africa that seemed to be pretty dominating. We saw Canada also up here in the large northeastern portion of North America. But this might be a surprise, is in second place here, solidly in second place, is the Northern Territories. Look at this guy. Northern Territories. Now, he has consolidated probably, two and a half, maybe two and two AIs worth of countries within his purview. But I think what's more impressive is that he has definitely been keeping his tech up, his harbors. So I would say keep an eye out for this guy right now, because he is number 2 in the game with not a huge number of territories, which means that he's actually playing this game with some foresight, some economy, and some military foresight in terms of construction and thinking towards the future. So very impressive. I'm liking what he's doing. He is part of the coalition Pirates of Austria. Sorry guys. Australia. I bet you guys hate that. And then here we have British New Zealand is also part of that coalition as well. So there's a powerful sort of knot forming down here. I do feel like in each of these spheres, there is a coalition that is sort of dominating. I know that we have some pirates fighting over here in South America and Central America. I know that we have let's just check and see here. We have the McLarens, which California is not a part of, and Baffin is not a part of. So we can't talk about any kind of dominating sort of dynasty up there, right? So I'll leave the rest to you. So far, nothing huge has happened. I really look forward to noting something that really, like a big shift that happens. And you know what I'm talking about. Towards the middle game, you start to have big shifts, and this is when the mech units level Generation 1 have already been in there, and Generation 2 start to come in and start to really push things in a particular direction. And so that's maybe day 15, 16, 17. When that happens, I really look forward to seeing how these empires will change, because we're going to start to see continents moving in a particular direction. And that's why I love it, because then you start to have continent versus continent, which is hardcore. And I love it. All right, guys, that's about it. Thank you for joining in. Every time you join me, it makes me happy. Go ahead and spank that like button. If you're not a member of our fucking community, join in, right? Subscribe right away. You got to do it. It's very, very important. We love having you here. Thanks for showing up. Adios, amigos.